can't tell the distance. Okay, Apple Vision Pro, we're coming for you. Yep, just checking that the traffic is going according to the right speed limit. Everyone's a safe driver. Hey, so welcome back to another episode of Midlifers. One of you commented and wanted to know how the new black and white emulsion performs. I've tried it out. It seems to be amazing, but let's do a head-to-head with the old emulsion and see how they perform. Okay, so we're not going to try to shoot Polaroids in 3D, but this is our setup. We have two Polaroid I2s. This camera has been loaded up with the new black and white emulsion, and this has been loaded up with the old black and white emulsion. We're going to keep it as close to one another as possible. We're going to make sure they're in the same settings, and then we're going to shoot a few images and we see how they compare to one another. All right, so both films, they're currently still not expired yet. The top pack is actually the new emulsion, which was produced in March this year. The old emulsion was produced in December last year. They were both cold stored, so we're going to see how they perform and what are the improvements in the new emulsion. Both cameras, they're not SLRs, they're actually viewfinder cameras. There'll be a degree of parallax error in both shots. But the first image we're going to take is of this color chart checker. We're going to see if the images are just a bit more contrasty or the colors themselves appear slightly differently in these two, in this emulsion and the old emulsion. We've put the cameras on the same setting. We just metered the light using a mirrorless camera. So we are on the settings of f8 and 1/100. We're going to take both images simultaneously so the light doesn't change. If it does change, both will be affected equally. And I'm going to press it right now. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're going to let it be there for about 5 seconds before I remove it so that there's no light that hits the film as it's developing. All right, so we've taken both images, but one was out of focus, so we're going to redo it right now. Okay, so this is take 2. We hope they focus. Okay, so we're going to leave the film under the frog tongue. We're going to just let it cook a bit so that the ambient light doesn't affect it as soon as we take it out. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture of this flower. We're going to do a bit of macro photography. I'm going to take it one by one because of the parallax in macro photography. It's very heavy. Apple Vision Pro, we're coming for you. We try the landscape from. Okay, so this is our fourth shot. We're going to do a cityscape. Okay, both for f8 1/80. We'll do a close-up portrait. 3, 2, 1. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Both focused at your teeth. Inside Funan, we're going to take an indoor shot. We're just going to do something like street architectural photography. So let's go. Okay, last shot. A bit of camera shake, but we shot it at 1/160. So it should be quite safe. Let's wait for the film to develop, then I'll show it to you. All right, so we've done all the testing. We've actually let the Polaroids develop a bit, so I'm just going to go through them a little bit. The last shot we took was indoor inside Funan, the mall. If you look carefully, you'll notice that the old emulsion here has a slight overexposure to it. Just to clarify for those watching, we shot both cameras at the same setting, and both cameras are Polaroid I2s that are not completely new, but they were bought recently, not too long ago. So if you look carefully, there is a bit more contrast in the image on the new emulsion, the new chemistry. It looks a lot better. I think indoors, of course, slight overexposure doesn't really show much difference, or it doesn't really harm the image per se. When we look at our outdoor shot, we shot the colorful building outdoors. And this is where I think the old emulsion falters. So you can see a lot of the image is actually overexposed. There's actually a degree of overexposure in the new chemistry as well, but it's not as bad as the old one. And just to clarify once again, they were both shot at the same settings. It's not like one was shot at 1/80 and 1/60. We made sure they were on the same aperture, same shutter speed. Then Ian took a portrait of me, and I think you can also see that I'm overexposed on the O emulsion. The contrast is a lot better. It looks a lot sharper as well on the new one. I guess it's the same for Ian's photo. I think you'll have a closer look at it later. Okay. So this is just the rooftop of Funan. I think it is evident that the new emulsion is better. Both films, by the way, were not expired or anything. So I think moving forward, Polaroid actually has done quite a bit of testing and development, and these new chemistry inside the film actually shows on the film. Okay, so just make sure when you buy the packs, make sure you get the new ones. Don't buy old stock or stock that wasn't stocked well. For those of you who are interested whether there are any changes to the color, we actually took 2 shots of a color chart checker as well. So go ahead, compare the images. We will flash the color chart checker beside this so that you know which colors represent what. So looking at the color chart checkers in a bit more detail, we realized that the old film actually tends to blow out, and that causes a loss in dynamic range. Even though the image does appear somewhat flatter, you do lose quite a bit of detail. So it kind of defeats the purpose of shooting an image a bit flatter. So I would say go with the new one. There is pretty much nothing wrong. It exposes well. It exposes well with the new cameras. I actually tried it on my SX70. It exposes very well with that as well. So go and try this new film out and let us know your thoughts. So if you ask me, the new emulsion is a great addition, great improvement to Polaroid's film lineup. I actually look forward to shooting more black and white, especially in a tropical area like Singapore, where the weather is hot and the color film tends to shift to a magenta quite frequently. I think the new black and white is a great addition. One thing I did note from some of my images is that when you shoot the new emulsion, it does have a tendency to be a bit fragile. When I shot it with my SX70, I had quite a bit of artifacts on the film. So just be careful if you like to use your finger to apply a bit of pressure to the film plate or film ejection slot. So just make sure you don't do that, which doesn't happen on the newer cameras. But if you're using an SX70, just take note of that. When the film is ejected, it's super sensitive and you will have these pick arm marks or aberrations that are quite obviously created by pressure on the film. I guess that's the end of our review. If you love this episode, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode of Midlifers.